You're watching Minister's Material with Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa.
Shall we start? Okay. Okay, let's see where we can start from. You see, it's a very, 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 very long topic. Very, very long. So I'm still wondering where exactly we should start from and trying to see what should be covered. And it's rather a very sensitive subject. You know, it's not easy to be discussing and opening up as a prophet to talk about the prophetic. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing because of number one, the language that you need to use so that you are properly understood. The language itself, it is a problem. Because when things are happening in the spirit, you see them happening, but to translate those activities into language and trying to explain spiritual activities, there is a language that is required. And apart from finding the correct language, there is a need also for the listener to develop an ear that can hear. So that makes the subject very, very critical. So I will see what I can do. I will try my level best to present it before you in a way that would help maybe just 2 or 3 of you, but at least I know that would be an achievement. Even if two of you can make it to grasp and to understand what I'm going to be talking about. So do you want me to talk about the prophetic? Yes. Is it the right place to talk about the prophetic here? You know, you see, I've been here for some time now, and I've given you several topics, but this one, even my heart is beating very, very fast. I have to be honest with you, I'm not comfortable at all. At all. I wish we could just sing some songs and leave. The prophetic ministry. I saw something in the book of Kings, 1 Kings and 2 Kings, even in the book of Chronicles. When you do a study and you do a follow-up on the school of the prophets, where there were these students that were coming and attending the school of the prophets, where they were being trained on not only how to hear the voice of God, but how to interpret the voice of God and how to present the voice of God to the people. So many things were happening at those schools. They were in different locations. And it's believed that there were more than even 3 schools of the sons of the prophets. And the people that were lecturing there were actually prophets. They needed to be prophets themselves before they could lecture on the prophetic. Because it's really a disaster when a person who can't hear and who can't interpret the voice of God begins to lecture on such a topic. Because, and you see, people are not afraid to do that. I've heard a lot of lessons on the prophetic from people that are non-prophetic. People that cannot hear God, they can't interpret the voice of God, and yet still they talk about this ministry. But you see, I also discovered a problem with the sons of the prophets, which is a problem that which is causing me to really want to think twice, because I didn't understand why these sons of the prophets were brought to a place in the spirit, whether through the lectures that they received, whether through some form of impartation that happened. But what happened is they were brought to a place of understanding where they could now see activities before even they would even happen. They were able now to prophesy. And they knew prophetically that Elijah, who was their principal, was about to be taken by God. I don't know how they saw it, whether it was through daylight revelations or whether it was vision, it was a dream, I don't know. But what I know is that they were informed by God. Their master's plan was exposed to them, maybe through a revelation or through a word or through a dream, but somehow they got to know that their master was going to be taken. And yet they never attempted to follow up on their principle. They didn't make a follow-up. They never pursued the prophet. Knowing that he was going to be taken, all they did was to prophesy about it and to advise Elisha that his master was going to be taken by the Lord. And they knew when. They said, today. And knowing that Elijah was going to depart, they never did anything to get an impartation from their master. Maybe it's because they had gotten it before, but we don't have any record of them moving into the supernatural, except that they prophesied that their master was going to be taken or their father was going to be taken. And only one person, Elisha, who was not even part of those students, pursued, and he went after the mantle until he got it. And receiving a mantle from Elijah, it means that no one else was given that mantle. And that mantle was never going to be given to anyone. And Elijah was ready to go with his mantle